You're on mute, Joe.
Uh,
You're on
no,
mute. There
I
we
got it.
go.
I got it. We're live. We're excited. It's the holiday season. Welcome to DevHub Live. Dropping in unexpectedly. So, trying to get everything going. Owen, great to see you in your festive gear.
And you too. You've
Yes,
really dressed the part. Merry Nearness.
yes, very near miss. We have a super fun show today. We have the Race of Sloths coming on to talk about developer rewards, engagement, everything they've been doing. With so much to talk about, but what's also really cool is opportunity for people to actually come up and ask questions and talk and be hopefully a really interactive episode. So without further ado, before we get into anything else, let's bring up Vlad from both DevHub and Race of Sloths. Vlad, how are you?
I'm amazing.
Nice,
Doing
nice, nice.
great. We have a lot of announcements today, and we will also talk about all sorts of stuff. So, and I hope to also have a lot of community members joining us. If you haven't seen, there are links in
Hopefully.
our Telegram chat to join the backstage. So be ready to jump in maybe like 15 minutes.
Awesome. So why don't we kind of level set a little bit and just kind of talk about like what Race of Sloths is, like the original idea, and then kind of like where it is today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Race of Sloths is the gamification for open source contributions. So if you're a developer and your day-to-day is to contribute to open source, you write code, you submit pull request, you wait for it to be reviewed and merged, and then you kind of take another opportunity, take another problem and solve it, and over again. You may enjoy your GitHub timeline and just a heat map that is over there. But also you may hit another game and join Race of Sloths to be your extra motivation, and also a way to show off and compete with your friends, maybe fellow contributors in a friendly way. You just talk about various funny stuff that we launch as part of themed events on Race of Sloths every month. And that's the kind of how it works. You do not leave GitHub. When you create a pull request, you just tag the bot race dash of dash sloth, and it will immediately onboard you. It will show the next steps. It will ask the maintainers to also do their next steps on the way. And at the end of the day, after your pull request is merged, you start collecting your sloth points, and this is how you basically earn your points and join the leaderboards. We have all sorts of different thematic leaderboards. We have long-term, short-term ones. We have some daily quests. So just check it out. It should be mostly be clear, but today I think it will be the opportunity for us to learn, is it actually clear to the community? Really excited to host this event today.
Yeah, I participated myself, obviously, and I really like the leaderboard element of it. I remember at one point I was third for the month, and I was trying desperately to maintain my position or rank up, but I did not get enough PRs off that day, and I dropped down the rankings, unfortunately.
That's a tough game, right?
Very
Yeah.
competitive.
Let me also try. Maybe let me share the tab so we can just have it on our video, so everyone is familiar with the UI. So this is it already live?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
Amazing. So this is the website, and that's how you can learn how it works on the simple 4 steps that you get in, and then what you can get and how to get recognition. There is also immediately the leaderboard of top 10 contributors of this month. So while there are definitely some people who contributed long term, we want to focus mostly on the most recently active ones. But there is a lot of different opportunities to learn about how the previous months ended. Also pretty nice. Oh, I made it! Yay!
Nice.
I didn't this month. Should. Okay, yeah, I will need to do better. And what else? What else should I save it for later? Let me save something for later.
What about the projects tab, or is that for later?
The projects tab, obviously, yeah, we have a bunch of projects that are from near ecosystem, but even beyond near ecosystem, we have some very famous ones like Axis, Undesign, Axis, Math.js, getting some of the pull requests going and some activity growing there. Nearblocks team is very active and competitive, so they will join today and talk about their experiences. There was also a couple of Rust projects. So yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the interesting things about this, and I really like, is that some of the projects included on here are like ones that near is like built upon. So it's nice to sort of like try and give back somewhat and engage developers.
This is a foundation, indeed.
Contribute back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's maybe not save it for later. I really want to talk about it. So Hall of Fame. This is a new tab. We recently introduced it, and as you let me scroll really fast down, and we'll see that there are some folks who already reached this bronze level, and this means that they contributed for like consistently over some period of time, and they already getting 5% bonus for every single pull request, and they're in terms of the sloth points that they're gaining. There are even more folks who reached the silver level, and I'm happy that it's growing. Obviously, there is gold level and platinum. Well, congrats to Oleg to reaching. He's the first one breaking the gold level, but there is obviously one level up over the platinum, and I wonder if you were ready for it. So it is actually Rust.
Very clever. I like it.
So yeah, this
how
is
do you move up?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say, how do you move up? So how is it? Just do I hit a threshold of points total? And I can.
No, it's not only about the points total. It's about your weekly streaks and monthly streak that you combine. So when you we have the usually we do not, we're trying to build gradually the whole process. So when you go here for when you're a contributor, you see your kind of next steps, how to reach the next level. But
lifetime bonus.
I can definitely reveal so when you hit 5 weeks of at least one pull request each week, you will get the first level. Then 10 weeks in a row, then 15 weeks in a row. I think 15 weeks in a row is the maximum, actually. And there is also a different streak of at least one pull request with the rating of 8 in a month. So it's a pretty beefy contribution that you need to make just once a month. And if you do it like Oleg does, like every month or over the course of past half year, he actually reached that one pull request. So after 5 consecutive months, you get the one level up, and then when you have 10 consecutive months this way, so almost a year, you will collect them all, and this is how you get the Rust level, and that is a lot of work and a lot of open source contributions. So that is win-win, I would say.
Yeah.
And
sure.
do you retain it for like forever? Because I saw like lifetime bonus.
Once you reach, it's a lifetime bonus.
Pretty OP.
So, but you can keep going. There is no limit over there. We'll see. Maybe we'll we didn't expect this much of consistency, but we are happy to see that. So
The real test will be if through the holidays and the new year, people can keep going. I think that'll be super impressive.
oh yeah, that would be a challenge. But
that's when people are off work though, so more time to make PRs, you know.
Yeah. And I just wanted to show on the where's me how the pull request could look like. So you don't need to go and register anywhere. When you open a pull request, you just mention the bot, as I said, and it provides you with a very nice dynamic page of your profile with all the achievements so far that you've made. So I'm also pretty old sloth here, as you can see, and the status of PR, blah blah blah, and then once it's merged, approved and merged, the bot will remind the reviewer to actually score it, and once they score it, it just gets counted. But be quick, because in this case, that sloth was not particularly fast, and we lost the score. I mean, we actually give the score of 1 automatically. Here you can see, but I could have potentially gained more. But,
see.
Ilya.
I'm interested to see what changes did you actually make. He only gave you it's like 4 changes.
Yeah, this is a small one. We turned the bash script into it's still bash script, but we did a reproducible build with source scan image. Now it's a reproducible contract. It was a pretty small one, but very important for one of the core contracts.
Sure.
Nice.
So one of the things that's different from when the last time you were on talking about Race of Sloths is you had like a preset group of repositories that were allowed. Now you've kind of opened it up. You want to talk a little bit about what's changed?
Well, there has been a lot of different ideas that we were testing, and different incentives, and we also attended a redacted offline conference in New York system in Bangkok, where we had amazing swag. So if you missed it, maybe there is an opportunity for you. if you are insisting, we will see. Maybe we have some swag today. But there were some challenges and takeaways on this process. The developers ecosystem is pretty tough to reach out, and I'm a developer as well. You guys as well. You know that we install all sorts of software to prevent any sort of advertisements happening in our lives. We control the resources we consume, ad blockers, only reading the trusted sources.
Right.
So we try to reach out through different legit channels, building our community slowly, steadily, and we are growing. But at the same time, we wish we can reach out to a bigger audience. So we built this. We did initially how it all started. I thought it would be a pretty simple process of, okay, every one of us who are regularly contributing anyway will go and contribute to open source projects, mention the bot there, and everyone else will see it. And basically that way it will be organically growing and expanding the network of Race of Sloths. I would say the pace of our contributions is not fast enough. and we are not reaching the external ecosystems that fast as we can in the ecosystem. So a lot of contributions are within the ecosystem and not living too widely of this ecosystem. Then we try to engage with various conference organizers, and we did a giveaway of Rust tickets to online conference, Rust UA, which was pretty fun, and it was very early of a launch from Race of Sloths project. By the way, we only launched in July this year, so technically it's not even half a year.
Yeah,
seems so much longer ago than that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
right. And since the time we also had this, so we did giveaway, which was fully hosted on near blockchain.
On chain, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
but I want to say that we do not really advertise and throw blockchain in the face of the users. As you have seen, it's a regular GitHub bot. You don't use an account there, and no near account needs to be provided to be part of it. So our belief is that we will provide the utility and some value to the user first, to the developers, and then they will, once they will need it, they'll use it. So this is what was happening with the giveaway to the Rust tickets. We have our leaderboard and the all the details about the pull requests of your interactions with the bot, GitHub bot, recorded on chain. So it's an application for those who are not familiar with the blockchain, maybe hopefully joining us as well today. It's just an app that is like a serverless function, you can say, and it collects all the historical updates. And those updates are how many score, what was the pull request link, score, who gave the score, and obviously who received the score. So all those details were living on chain, and we could tap into it with a different application. So different application was just pulling the list from the Race of Sloths list, from the Race of Sloths application, and randomly selecting weighted list of winners. So that was super simple to implement, extremely transparent. We ran it once. You can it's recorded on chain. You can see the transaction there. There was no other transactions there. It was just one execution, and we went with it. So it's super fair and clear rules for all the participants. Then in October we did Rosktoberfest. Race of Sloths, Oktoberfest. So also a fun event where the participants collected the points over the whole months, and then we distributed the 10K budget pool among the contributors based on their activity, basically based on the Sloth points. Also fair, fully transparent, clear upfront, no strings attached. Did executed, and we had a pretty great feedback from the community who were part of those contributors. From what I've heard, weren't even aware of or weren't really counting on getting rewards. They were doing their regular day-to-day job, contributing to open source, building what they care, and used Race of Sloths bot. And at the end of the month, we just mentioned them in our announcement, and suddenly they got some money. It was pretty cool gift at the end of the month. So
yeah, sure. I'd love to pivot off that point of what you just talked about and go back to like the intrinsic value or even the extrinsic value of application like Race of Sloths. I got to imagine in designing and building this, there's probably a lot of back and forth of like, how much does this become monetary? How much is this just points? What do we do with those points? What are some of those discussions that are happening around Race of Sloths project?
Yeah, maybe even one step back, like why we were building it in the first place.
Yes, please.
I'm a developer, and I really love some. I'm really into the open source world, and I believe that that's the way how we move the tech forward. So I'm a huge fan of Linux and all those open source projects that are available to the whole community of developers around the globe freely. And I wanted to bring a bit more engagement in the process and also give back to the community of open source that Near ecosystem has been building on top of for several years already, like Rust ecosystem and JS ecosystem. We have a lot of tooling that couldn't have been possible without compilers, tooling for developers in those ecosystems. So I wanted to find a way that how we would fairly distribute the contributions and also make it a bit more fun. We had some inspiration from projects like Duolingo in terms of gamification and just building like some engagement and competition a bit. Also, my background as a software engineer was the competitive programming. So I participated in a lot of competitions where you write some code, you gain the points, and you throw away the code. You never reuse it. It's totally useless in terms of the outcomes.
I think this is mirrored with hackathons a bit.
Hackathons in a way, but actually hackathons are much more like you can make it a continuous work. You can continue doing something with competitive programming.
That's
there
what
is
we
no
hope
point at all.
most of the time.
Yeah. So with and there are still big communities of developers who, after years, still compete on those platforms.
Sure.
Because they love the competition vibe and the leaderboards. And I was thinking maybe we can tap into that network as well and give people something to contribute to something meaningful while still maintaining that leaderboard and competitiveness in their hearts. So that's where it all started. Along the way, we were also exploring the monetary incentives and like how we can distribute money and reward people for the work. That is still in the discussions and how to make it not really gameable, but the I think the main value in Race of Sloths is not the money part. It's about the sense of community and the open source vibe in general, and it's just adding on top of that some recognition and a bit of fun and unusual feeling of the process when you contribute. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a little lower. A little like lower stakes competitiveness, right? Where, once I don't have to really be in there every day, but I can be recognized for my regular streaks. And if I am someone who is motivated by that, that is reflected very much so in that leaderboard. And like I am not on that leaderboard at all. I'm not contributing to any of those projects right now. But as soon as you see that leaderboard, the competitive side of me was like, I need to like, get in there, you start feeling a little bit of that FOMO of like, how do I get to become part of that? So does that become the next challenge for Race of Sloths, is like getting people to have that like initial like taste of getting a PR approved through Race of Sloths and then building off of there?
The opportunities are endless, I would say. Even including the blockchain direction, including the AI direction, and even just building the communities as part of this movement. So maybe it could transform the open source, because lately there are a lot of tough conversations happening inside open source communities due to lack of funding, some political drama and decision making, and just lack of maintenance of certain resources, especially fundamental ones. We've seen some security challenges being presented there when the maintainers cannot maintain their projects anymore, original maintainers, and they give access to someone else, and someone else, you never know what they do with the projects. So Race of Sloths could potentially solve some of the challenges with the incentives for the maintainers long term. So we're still exploring the space, and this is why I want really to invite the community today to also share their thoughts. What would be your ideal world? Is there something that Race of Sloths you believe can help with in open source or otherwise? Definitely post in the comments. I think we see all of them in YouTube and X Twitter.
Yep.
Right.
So I think I think the gamification mechanic of it is really quite undervalued, though, as in without incentive structure anyway. Like, I know I've played a bunch of mobile games in the past that have some score, and you might just like think it's arbitrary, right? And it somewhat is, because it's not tied to anything really. But I mean, people play these games and want to get higher in the ranks and higher for no specific reason. And I think a lot of it is just seeing those points go up and being higher than your friends and other contributors. And that's where the community aspect comes in again.
Is there a reputation piece that you guys are hoping to come out of this as well? That hopefully I can show my sloth profile, show that I'm a regular contributor. Here's the work that I've done. Obviously people have to score me, right? So it's not just about me putting blindly up a bunch of PRs. Is that a part of this all here too, where like you brought up the thing of like the maintainers and then bad actors coming in and doing that? We actually saw that this year, that actually led to a really serious vulnerability possibly, and it luckily got caught before it caused a lot of damage. But is this something where you said this is becomes a reputable person, they've submitted PRs that have been scored and all that stuff?
Definitely. I've already heard so many nice ideas how people can use it, and already saw some actually using the profile as a proof of their authenticity, and also providing the context that is easier to digest to even non-tech people. So people, some of the folks used it as the kind of resume link for like HRs in a way. Not necessarily. I'm not sure. I think it still summarizes the the long-term contributions much better than someone like a hiring person who is just looking for an engineer with scans through the GitHub profile and will understand the taste of it. I think the profile just is built upon like it's longer term, and if we will get it running for over a year, this whole initiative Race of Sloths, I believe we will gain the community of really exemplary profiles that people will share more in their networks, and among the friends, as I said, like there are different applications. I know that for some folks, especially in their early careers, any how it's called, certificates from various Coursera courses or anything like that is already a huge help. Race of Sloths profile could be even better indicator of the actual skill, because like, okay, you passed the course, but can you actually contribute something meaningful as an engineer day to day? Who knows?
Yeah, I'd love to see Race of Sloths sort of become like the standard on a CV or resume. I think that would be an awesome milestone, instead of like attaching your GitHub or your LinkedIn or whatever. Literally just put your link to Race of Sloths there, or like embed your profile in the CV.
Yeah. I also think that something like this, and here, a tool like this is exciting, and it should be exciting for especially younger developers, because what you just said reminds me of like anytime I've tried to hire, fresh out of college type of developers, right? Like fresh out of school, and they're starting to now go into the professional world. It is so different to actually like ship real production code than it is to do your schoolwork. And all the stuff that you did in school and everything else doesn't always translate back. And that gap is sometimes bigger than people realize. And so having the ability to, not only do some of the work, but then show that like, hey, I've done actual production level work. I see what goes into a real PR. I've proven myself, is a much more attractive benefit, because I mean, I know just from personal experience, I have hired some very intelligent developers who really struggled working in a production environment because they just weren't used to what that looked like. So I think this could really be a nice onboarding as well at some point for younger developers too.
Makes total sense. And as I said, it's all permissionless, and you can come up with your own applications and your own usage, and that would be a lot of fun to see. And also bring the feedback to us if you miss something, if we miss something, and we can do better to support you. We have Telegram chats, we have a Twitter account. Just mention us there.
Yeah.
Reddit is something that we are building the community around these days as well. So post there. Yeah, let's. I do have a couple of interesting topics to talk, but I also want to invite community members to the stage. Do we have someone to bring up?
Yeah, we can bring up whomever we want. Who do you want to bring up right now?
I know, maybe you can post in the comments if you want to, in the chat, in the comment section, if you want to be part of the stage.
Here we go. There we go.
Hey. Good to see you, everyone.
Hey, you're
The man with the heart.
Yeah, yes. Appreciate the festiveness. Very nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let me probably introduce Yurtur, even though he prefers to go with anonymous Santa Claus today, probably. you can spot him on Race of Sloths, but I will not name his username. But
It's fine. We can share my username. It's not a big deal.
yeah, Arthur actually contributes a lot to the Race of Sloths itself. So he's the main developer of the bot and the infrastructure, the whole implementation, basically. And the man who stands behind the reason why GitHub bans Race of Sloths, because I asked him to.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little about that. I know you guys had a little trouble at getting the bot going. What happened there?
Yeah, I've not heard of this.
So basically, we decided that we want to have that October event and to be like Hacktober's, and we researched a bit past Hacktoberfest events and saw some backslash that small value contributions were happening, and the maintainers were annoyed by some people that coming and do basically zero score PRs and tried to like overwhelm them. And so Hacktoberfest wanted later on asked repositories that are interested to participate to put a hashtag basically open to Hacktoberfest or something like that. But well, we were not that hyped, and no one knows about us, so we decided to be also proactive and just to ask repositories, huge repositories that are part of dependencies of Near. We just scrapped all our Cargo, Rust stack, Near, JavaScripts that we use, and we just parked that huge list, filtered it a bit, that active repositories, and decided, so let's ask the repositories if they don't mind us to add them. And but we couldn't find a way, proper way to to communicate with them, right? It's hard to do so, and we thought, what's the best way to do that? It's probably create an issue for repositories, and that's what happened. We like started to like a day 30 to 50 repos to like post issues there and ask people, and some people get annoyed basically by that we like try to advertise our product in like, we probably didn't found the proper like communication. Maybe if we would communicate better, it would go easier on us. But as we understood, some people just reported us to the GitHub and they just wiped us in the middle of Hacktoberfest. And Oktoberfest, we just started and got wiped on like day 1 or day 2 of Rosktober after we said that we, hey guys, go use it. We started, and yeah, we had a bit of a discussion with GitHub team. Luckily, we got unbanned and we could communicate it because we created separate account and moved all our activities there for a while. But basically, yeah, we wanted to prevent one spam issue by creating another one.
Yeah, and as Artur mentioned, it hit us hard the second day after we kind of officially started. So the October starts on the 1st of October, and
Right.
2nd of October, we find ourselves in the situation of all our posts are kind of deleted, like they're not visible anymore, they're shadow banned. And we do not obviously receive any notifications from the users when they ping us from the pull requests. And even if we would, we actually received them, but we were very limited in the number of requests we could do. And even if we would reply to them, they wouldn't see our response. So we had to have a workaround. Yeah.
That's basically kind of funny because you still can create PRs and issues to any repo you want and you can contribute, but no one sees it. And if you merge the PR, it says like, hey, Akorchin merged this PR, but when you click on me, it's like account unknown. Who is here?
Yeah, that's how we learned how GitHub works and how funny it could look like from the external observer.
But we had also a second ban a few weeks ago. But this time it was like a miss to GitHub. Probably they have a script that tries to find the spam, and they thought that we are spammy. But we just like typed, and it's less than the half of the day we got unbanned. This time it was like not intentional. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sloth is a bit under the law.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if a company like GitHub, though, sees it's not competitive, obviously, with GitHub, but I could see them wanting to do something similar to this, like of what you're doing here, of being able to reward repositories and things like that. Like, is that so? There probably is. I don't know if the purpose. Obviously, you guys aren't necessarily big enough to they're really on their radar of trying to figure that out. But I could see that coming to become part of that. Is there a process somewhere around this where if GitHub were to fully just block you, that you can still kind of continue with the project in some way?
We can obviously do it outside of GitHub. It would be not as nice as we wish. And so far, even with when they banned us, we still had the access to notifications. So we could still implement the rest of the flow. We just wouldn't be able to respond on GitHub, and it would be a bit of a like we would ask users to post a bit more details about what are the next steps the maintainer should do, and I think that would be a bit more involved. At the same time, it could be completely outside of GitHub, and to be honest, I would say that we are doing a favor to GitHub with the just working for free on engaging the developers. So
it seems like it would push more traffic to GitHub than retract anything.
Exactly. Yeah. So if anyone has the connections with GitHub teams, let us know. Maybe we can get a better partnership and collaboration with them.
Do they not have their own? Do they not have their own repos? You should go ahead and open an issue there. That's how you can get in contact. Might have the same result though.
Yeah. Poke the bear a little bit.
It's funny when developers do business development. This is what we get. Getting banned by GitHub. I'm glad it's all good now though. Have you put any sort of thought or like mitigations in place for the future, or are you doing anything else differently so to avoid getting any like bans in the future or restrictions?
I don't think there is any way, besides maybe being proactive and reaching out to some partner, for partnership discussions. I think we are in a weak position here, I would say. If someone just reports our messages to GitHub and their moderator team decides that it's spam, we go ban. But I really this is a challenge. We are fighting for open source and we are getting dismissed sometimes.
I must say that even though we in a weak position, we still can probably work it out because all our interactions is user first. So user are tipping us. It's not like we just came and spammed, right? The user invited us. So I think it's one of the points that can save us, not save us, but it's why we are not spamming, because it's not we decided to address some PR, but the user itself.
Yeah. But also, just to reiterate, our goals are not to spam. Our goals are not to detract from the open source community. our initial mission, and it remains to be, is give back. And it starts with from the near perspective. As I mentioned, near protocol has been built on probably thousands of dependencies out there, and there are plenty of projects that we want to give back. It just we didn't find the organic way of fast organic way to reach out to them and actually offer something. If we just go and randomly message the person, giving them money, it's also gonna be weird. And those airdrops are perceived as something really bad. So
that was actually going to be my next question, was about that part of it, of where you start to, if you have, let's say, outside groups that want to further incentivize people who are building on here, is there a way for a project to come in and use the data from Race of Sloths to reward them, or is it because it's purely just on GitHub right now? Like, there's no way to actually airdrop people or anything else like that. It's more or less you'd have to actually reach out for rewarding.
As I said, we currently do not push people towards using the blockchain. You can still airdrop them based on their GitHub profiles. You could have done that without Race of Sloths, but with Race of Sloths, what we internally have is definitely the community of people who care and who pay a bit more attention to the open source and the currently near ecosystem. So, and what I also want to say, that you can build a totally standalone experience based on the data from the Race of Sloths contract on Near, and basically on board and this offer people to opt into something based on their current leaderboard scores, whatnot. So it's a totally valid use case, and it was designed from the get-go to be that, allow anyone to extend the platform, to build their own experiences, and just be part of it. As I said, this giveaway of Rust tickets.
Right.
Basically, it was a completely separate project. It could have been built by a totally separate team, and the tickets were kind of the link drops.
Right. Makes sense.
Yes, permissionless by default, really. It'd be interesting to see if anyone does build anything on top of it, or any projects airdrop sloth point holders in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're exploring that direction, but also I don't want to, as I said, to sound like we are doing another link drop or something like that. I really want it to be organic and useful.
That'll be open source.
So it's not inflated and not abused. At least before we know how to properly handle it.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Going forward and from here, I'm sure you guys have a lot of ideas. What does 2025 look like for Race of Sloths?
I would say the very first one, the bet that we are making is the organic growth and hopefully viral distribution and viral adoption of Race of Sloths in bigger open source community. But to do that, we have various ideas, including attending some conferences and sending some swag, making some fun events, basically building communities of people in the hope that that is something that they need, and collect feedback from you all. That's why we also created the short survey and that we will share after the call today. All the questions are optional, so you can skip something that you feel like too much to unpack. But still, please fill out at least the ones that you have immediately recognize and easy to answer, and that would be very helpful for us to understand what drives you if you're an active Race of Sloths member, or what's not enough for you at the current stage. What would drive it for you? What we can help with. Any ideas? Yeah, it could be, I don't know, integration with, I don't know, Dogecoin. Hopefully not, guys. But I hope that I really want to make some mechanisms in Race of Sloths that would make it engaging and fun, and just friendly. It's not about earning your Lambo kind of project.
Right.
It's open source has different values, and open source is long-term contribution to the sustainable world, in my view.
Yeah.
And I really hope we can potentially build some sustainable economy over there, maybe through Race of Sloths or somehow facilitated through it. To join the communities and let's build it together. That's kind of the general mood for 2025, I would say.
Yeah. No,
it's not a one person job. I think we built a pretty good foundation there. Artur, Gleb, Alex, Sasha, Paula, myself, we have pretty strong team behind it that allowed us to deliver it in very short time. But then to identify the best direction going forward, we need the community. We need to know what's in their minds, what's on your mind, what's on your mind. What's in your mind, Owen?
My mind is pretty blank after a day of writing, but yeah, I think people should join up. I know I've participated, and it's fun to do, and I like the competitive nature. Sometimes though, I'm switching between tasks and I don't get the opportunity to contribute, and then I know I'm gonna be nowhere near the top of the leaderboard. So I'm like, what is the point? So maybe there needs to be like a noob leaderboard and like a.
I must say that some of the folks were totally surprised to be at the top. They were just contributing as usual, and then once we announced some of the changes in the leaderboards every other week, and we were mentioning them, and they were like, "Wow, how did that happen?" So Owen, it may start as a storm for you, and then you will find yourself at the top. But
hopefully,
true, yeah.
And have you
ask? Sorry, go ahead.
Do you have anyone on your team who is like has experience with like proper marketing and growth and like sort of go-to-market strategies. Because from what you're saying, the team sounds really quite developer intense and heavy. So maybe you need to bring someone in who can find like how to accelerate it. Maybe it like it may be inorganic, which you're not really looking for, but it can help it get to a place where then there's enough attention around it where it can grow more organically.
You're totally fine, right? But at the same time, I want to say that we have a tough audience here, developers, and marketing to developers is really hard. There is a lot of competition for the attention of developers.
I know it's half of my job.
Frameworks, blockchains, AI, hype words. Race of Sloths is probably not on the list for now. Even open source struggle. So we need to recognize the fact that there is a challenge in open source, and that is something that Race of Sloths is kind of trying to, in a way, address. We definitely need to talk more about it in the wild, and just bring more people aware of the problem and the current solution we have here.
Nice.
Arthur, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. When we were discussing about 2025 would be, I wanted to say that it would be nice if we become like something like lead code, but like for the world of the open source. So basically, like for corporations, sometimes using lead code to like evaluate person's skills on the first stage, it would be also awesome that we were something like that for open source.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as a huge interest from founders and some HRs. When I was mentioning Race of Sloths, they were like, so can we just go to the profile and pick the top 10 people and be done with our hiring? I'm like, sure. That's also the way. And that's what has been happening with the competitive programming contests also. Like every other month there was like a huge competition, and the top of the list was getting reached out by the big corps. At least back in the day it was pretty popular. I'm not sure how it is these days.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure as time goes on and more people use this, that more ideas will come around. I mean, again, just thinking about like previous experiences, right, where even at your business, right, having it almost competitive to your employees of being able to earn points on top of everything else, right? They're getting paid a salary, everything, but now you as a small community within your own team in your own company could have a way to get points. And especially if your stuff is already open source, I think that's really interesting. Seeing who cares about your product, who are those people who maybe should be compensated and brought in because they're actually regularly contributing. A lot of discovery could probably come from this, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to,
speaking of that, on that topic, and also the comment from Owen, the concern being not reaching the top of the leaderboard, we are thinking about maybe having some thematic, project-specific, community-specific leaderboards. As such, near DevRels could be just one of the leaderboards, and then there will be a friendly competition between just folks who
the one at the bottom gets fired each month.
I hope we will not get into that stage, to be honest. It's not the tool for punishment. It's a tool for recognition and celebrating the success.
Makes sense.
And this currently shared part of the slide is just like, that's basically our whole idea and mission, to somehow make sure that all this pyramid is still operational, and we have the right people at the right places with the right state of mind supporting the greater open source ecosystem.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I also brought this up. I wanted to make sure people saw if they want to submit their own project. They can do that right from your site here. Looks like you just kind of open up the issue.
Actually, not.
Okay.
Starting early this month, the Race of Sloths is open to any project out there. So you just go to any open source project, especially if you are contributing to any open source project, you create no pull request, you mention the bot, no registration is needed, no pre-registration of yourself, no pre-registration of the project is needed. You just message the bot, everything else will be communicated in the message. So it should be super
Looks
smooth.
like, yeah, you guys had a nice tweet about it here. Looks
Yep.
like nice. Well, awesome. Anything you guys want to wrap up on? I mean, there's so much stuff here. I think it's going to be exciting. 2025 Race of Sloths, everything else. But any last words?
Contribute to open source.
I like it. I like it.
That scared me a little bit then. Yes, I will do
it. See you next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and showing all the progress you've made. Again, I think this is a wonderful tool, and we want to keep highlighting it and go contribute. If you're doing the work anyways, might as well get rewarded. So awesome stuff.
Yeah, and Christmas time is the best for exploring the open source and like trying out things, and who knows, maybe solving some small, at least, items.
Absolutely.
Before Christmas.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff. Again, I appreciate you guys coming on, talking about this, and have a wonderful holiday.
Thanks.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
And wrapping up here. We're at the end of the year. How are you feeling?
It's been a long year, but eventful. A lot happened in the near ecosystem and wider life. I think, a lot of people are going to be taking some time off now to sit back, relax, eat. I know I'm going to be eating a load. But I mean, I'm still going to be in and around, developing some stuff and answering questions, I think, as well. So yeah, if you're looking to build on Near or join the community, we're always around. Sometimes even in the high holidays.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. There's plenty of stuff if you want to keep building. Let me bring up our usual thing here. So down below, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter that Owen curates each and every single week, which is all the great dev stuff that's happening here in the Near ecosystem. Get started at dev.near.org if you want to start building right away. Again, like Vlad said, this is a great time during the holidays. Things slow down, try something new, get involved in different communities, just see what's out there. Great time to do that. There will be people around if you need help and need support. So definitely don't feel like you're going to be on your own. We really encourage that. And then for this show, so next week, because of the holiday week and everything else, we're going to have a clip show. So we'll just, we'll still broadcast at the same time, kind of a recap of the year, some of the highlights coming down from all the great episodes. This was episode 32. So we've had 32 episodes now of this, which is pretty awesome. So it's really been an eventful year for DevHub, for the Near ecosystem, and so we want to just kind of end on that and lead into some excitement going into the new year. So I'm excited.
What are you most excited for 2025?
I know the hype is right now, obviously still everything pointing towards the AI stuff, but I am so impressed and interested of like what comes from the intents. I think building with intents is going to be really, really interesting. The idea of really being able to replace a central exchange by doing this and having these opportunities is really interesting to me. It's part of that when we talked about like having a new kind of financial opportunities for people to be able to actually do this and with intents is super compelling. So yes, the AI stuff will be there. I think the AI stuff will be part of all this. There'll be probably some really great stuff coming out of there. But I think like in the more immediate future, definitely seeing what people build on top of intents is really interesting to me. How about yourself?
I would say products, like actual applications that are building. I know a few were like on the run up to launch, and we've come out with a fair bit of like tech recently, namely like chain signatures. I don't know, was that like, when did it launch to mainnet? Was it like 6 months ago? Maybe no, further before that. But it obviously takes these teams time to build this stuff,
Sure.
and on top of the AI narrative and hype as well. So I think I'm really excited to just see these projects come to fruition and have something I can properly like interact with.
Yep.
That's what I'm most excited about. And I think with all this incubation of these projects, we could really have a vibrant ecosystem here in 2025.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, products all the way down. I mean, that's the next stage here. Is really getting those products out the door, and I'm excited to see what comes of that. Well, awesome. I want to make sure and say thank you to everyone who has been watching over time. Whether it's your first episode or you've been here since the beginning, this has really been an exciting time for DevHub. For Owen and I, we've been very grateful for all the different audience interaction and everything else. Again, we will continue to broadcast. We have some really interesting stuff, I think, coming in the new year too, with some show formats, everything else. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot more great stuff to come. Not just what you've been seeing already, but we'll keep doing DevHub Live each week. Any last words, Owen?
As always, I think you summed it up nicely. So
right.
Nothing else except Merry Nearmas.
Yes, Merry Nearmas, and everyone enjoy some time off if you're able to take it, and we will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.